Alright, so I've been in my house now for about 9 years, actually a little over, and I'm getting ready to move. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and do a recap of the paint work that I've done. When I first moved in here, my buddy told me that he knew someone that can come in here and do some really cool paint jobs on my wall. I can do all these faux finishes that I really was unfamiliar with. So I did. I had him come on in. I paid him a good chunk of change, and he used suede, he used metallic paints, and he did a really good job. He just did the main floor, or I thought he did a good job at the time. So then I went ahead and thought that, alright, well, let me give this a shot. You know, at the time, Home Depot sell the Ralph Lauren Polo paints, a lot of faux finishes. So I went ahead and I figured I'd start in the basement. You know, the main floor was kind of done, I'd start in the basement. So I went ahead and did the, I went to Sherwin-Williams and got this base color, and I started with that. Because this entire basement down here was just baby blue from the previous owners. So I went ahead and started with this is Alaskan Husky, it's just a flat paint. And I went ahead and used this. This is my main color throughout the house. And then I went ahead and bought some River Rock, and I actually two-toned this. I'm not sure how well it'll show up on the camera. But this is River Rock right here. This is like a darker tan. And then I used a lighter kind of medium tan on this wall right over here. And then I went ahead and did the same suede that the guy did upstairs, which is the zinc Ralph Lauren suede. And I did it on 3 walls. But then I came to realize he didn't do the suede right. He was just putting X's on my walls. This stuff is actually really easy to use. The Ralph Lauren, it comes out great. It's almost hard to mess up. You just got to go ahead and put in some work and make sure you go through all the steps. But the Ralph Lauren suede really looks cool. And this is my first go around with it was right here. And I did a little more River Rock up here. Over here is the lighter color, and then I went up there. So I did the suede, and then I went ahead and finished it up. But by this time I was realizing I'm going to put a home theater down here, which I never finished. But I went ahead and did the suede on this wall as well, and that's blue screen paint to go along with it, because I was going to go ahead and make this my home theater. It just didn't pan out and happen. And then I did the suede back there. So I wish I can get the color to really kind of pop and show up on camera, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But the suede is actually really cool. I'll show you a different example. They stopped selling this paint at Home Depot, all their faux finishes by Ralph Lauren, which kind of sucks because Ralph Lauren really did make some good faux finishes for a pretty decent price. So this is my basement. I love the way it turned out down here. I put new carpeting in, and it's just a complete transformation from how it looked when I moved in here. So now I'll go ahead and head upstairs. Okay, after I got done with my basement, I came up here and painted the upstairs. I believe I started in my bedroom. I remember it was 4th of July. I want to say maybe 2007. And I basically just used Sherwin-Williams flat color paints. This is the Alaskan Husky, the main color of my house. And I just rolled this around. And then I took another color that I used downstairs. It's this darker green gray. I can't remember the name of it. And I rolled that in back as well. And I did this sidewall in that color. And then I used the Marina gray. So there's actually 4 colors in this room, including the ceiling. And I took this Marina gray and I kind of rolled this out the rest of the floor. And then I used a little more of that darker green gray. And then next I did my office. Now I did my office a couple times. I actually had a mural on this wall for quite a while until it went bad. And then I stripped that down which that was a pretty big job in itself. And I saw this little picture on the computer. I was just sitting here one day. It was a little 2x2 picture. And I'm like, I think I can do that. Here's my pond. So I went ahead and got some more paint, chose my colors, and this is the end result. And I think it turned out a lot like the picture I saw. Now this took a little bit of time. It's mostly masking work. I basically had to put the colors down, mask, and then remask, and it was just a lot of masking work. But I think it came out really well. And then I also used a top coat that Ralph Lauren makes or made that Home Depot used to sell called Candlelight. And I put that on top. Unfortunately, it only is visible through this angle, which is an angle I never use. And you might not be able to see it on the camera, but it kind of gives it like a different sheen to it. It's a shame that I wasn't able to go ahead and see that from both sides. So this is my office, and next I did the third bedroom here. Not exactly sure where I got the idea for this bedroom. I believe it's from the stripes that are on the curtain right there. And then I went ahead and came up with this, which is basically just a lot more masking work. Not as much as the previous room, but I used a silver metallic paint along with Ralph Lauren blue suede, and just kind of came up with this cool little pattern. It's pretty simple, actually. I'm gonna go ahead and open these curtains up, and then I just rolled it around the rest of the room. And on the bottom I used a ragging technique. It was my first time ever ragging. And at first I hated the colors. I didn't mind the ragging. I thought that came out fine. But it really grew on me. I like it a lot now. I just used the Alaskan Husky and the Marina Gray, two colors I have throughout most of my house, and ragged those together. And I think it looks alright. Actually, this is one of my favorite rooms, or one of my favorite paint jobs for my room. For my rooms. So yeah, and then lastly, I was looking for blinds for this room, and it was kind of cool because I actually found blinds at Home Depot that matched that ragging technique, the Marina Gray and the Alaskan Husky, exactly. I'm not sure it's gonna show up on the camera, but if you see there, it looks just like if this would focus, the Alaskan Husky and Marina Gray. So that is my upstairs. I can't say if I spent more time up here than I did down in the basement, but I would actually probably guess that I did. So I will go ahead and finish up with the main floor. Okay, lastly we have the main floor. That's the front door of the house right there. And this is the only floor that I had the guy come in and do paint work when I first moved in here back in 2005. These two walls were originally that charcoal zinc suede that I went ahead and did downstairs. But I went ahead and changed that. I wanted to lighten it up because it was pretty dark in here. So I used a tan beige color suede, which turned out really cool. I believe the color is called Prairie Dog, but it has a nice finish to it. It looks suede, leather-like appearance to it. By this time, I've done it quite enough that it became second nature to me. See if I can get close to it. And then I went ahead and repainted all the Alaskan Husky on this floor or in this room. And one of the only walls I kept from the original painter, this is actually the only faux wall, is this metallic paint. I like the way that this turned out. I like the color, especially since I lightened up the room. I kept this kind of a darker color. There's some brush strokes in it, but it looks decent. Alright, going into the bathroom. This is the second time I did this Venetian plaster. It looks purple on the camera, but it's definitely a blue. And I really like it. I mean, this is the most tedious thing I've done. Is this Venetian plaster? It's a two-step process, but it's not difficult. It's just time-consuming. Basically, you go ahead and you put the plaster on in multiple coats, and then step 2 is just sanding it like crazy. Just sanding and sanding till you get this this gloss finished. It's very smooth. You can see the vanity in the reflection. Very smooth, very marble-like, and has a nice sheen to it, like marble. So I wrap this around the entire bathroom. When you do a whole room, even a small room like this, it takes a while. It's a lot of work. But I'll go over here. I think I can go ahead and show off how glossy it is. If you look downward into it, you can really kind of see the reflection. Just to kind of show how glossy it is. Alright, moving on. Back here we have the dining room. I took this river rock here and I just went ahead and wrapped it around. And then I kept this room pretty simple. I just used the Alaskan Husky. But I added that top coat, that candlelight coat that I used in my office over it. Not sure if I can get it to show up again, but I added that just to kind of make things a little different. I didn't want to just do the flat Alaskan Husky, and it has like an acrylic feel to it, so it's something different. And I did that around the room, and then I went ahead and did that in River Rock as well. Once I finished all my painting, which was still probably about 5 years ago, I went ahead. That's when I started the pond back here. Alright, let's head into the kitchen. Before we do that, let's just go in the laundry room real quick, just so I can go ahead and show the original color. This whole front area here was originally this tan-like color, almost a flesh-like color. It's definitely the best of the 3 colors they used, but it still needed to be painted. I left this room alone. I didn't do any painting in here. Alright, now the kitchen. I didn't do much paint work in the kitchen. He originally came in and painted the Alaskan Husky in here. I didn't feel much need to change it. Although I did go ahead and wrap this color around to this side as well. But that's about it. Now I did go ahead and do some work here in the family room, starting with the fireplace area. Again, I used Venetian plaster, this time in like an aged moss color, or greenish color. I had this color tweaked a couple times. At first I didn't like it. I don't remember why. I think maybe it was too bright. But the final color turned out pretty decent. I went ahead and built this plate. This was originally just a big hole for a TV you can put in there. And I had this idea to put an aquarium in there. So I built this plate, which turned out pretty decent. Unfortunately, the weight of the aquarium was a little risky. It would have been about 575 pounds. so I had to bail on that idea. However, I think even an empty aquarium looks better than just a hole. But again, with this Venetian plaster, a really high reflection, high gloss, marble look to it. You can kind of see the couch and stuff in the background. So this turned out really decent. Now this whole room here, including the kitchen, was literally a gang green color. It was really bad. So that's why it had to be changed. Oh, I forgot, I do have another faux wall from the other guy. He painted this in the metallic color that's out in the front room, and I left that because I think that looks pretty decent. Now this back wall here was also originally zinc suede, and again I wanted to lighten that up because it was kind of dark. But by this time Home Depot stopped selling their suede, but I noticed that Lowe's had some suede. I'm not sure if it was Valspar or something else, but I figured I'd give it a try, and I highly do not recommend it. I really like the way this wall turned out. These horizontal lines are for my blinds. I did get a nice effect, but that's only because I used their suede over the original zinc suede. So any effect you're seeing is because of that zinc suede. And if I didn't do that, I don't think there would be any effect at all, which is kind of a shame. But I do like the way this wall turned out. I got lucky with that. And then here is the original zinc suede that the original painter did. And as you can see, the patterns are just very wide. He kind of just put X's on the walls, so it doesn't really give that suede look, but it's still kind of a different, cool look to it. Like I said, it's hard to mess this color up, so no matter what you do, you'll still kind of get a unique look to it. And then I bought some trim here and just kind of made a frame to frame up my dog. And then I just used the Alaskan Husky over here as well to cap off the room. So that's about it. I did go ahead and I want to shut these blinds. Finish this here with just a little LED ribbon, which I thought was really cool for that frame. And then you can do a lot of customization to it as well. You can have it fade in and out of colors. So that is a recap of my house here in Aurora, 2406 Halsted Lane. I'm not really sure where I came up with most of the ideas for most of the rooms that I did. I'm not very good at matching colors, but I did a lot of the rooms multiple times to kind of just get it the way I looked, or get it the way I wanted it. But I had a lot of fun with it, and when I first got introduced to the faux painting, I definitely wanted to give it a shot, and I'm glad I did. For sure, my next house that I move into, I'd like to try this stuff again if anyone comes out with a decent product. So that's it. Recap of the paintwork here at my house at 2406 Halsted Lane.